Welcome to Cooking with Parker. Today we're going to be making some homemade hummus and pita. It's a little bit of work, but so much better than anything you find at the stores. So I'm going to show you kind of my steps and practices to make a simple roasted garlic hummus and then some fresh pita. Let's go. I'm going to start with our chickpeas. I'm using dried chickpeas. We're going to soak these in water overnight. You can use canned as well. This is just a couple extra steps, give you a better final product. Promise it's worth it. But I've definitely used the shortcut as well. So drain them off, add them to my pot. I'm going to put them on the stove and boil it for about an hour. Just liberally salt our water with about 2 tablespoons. Next, we're going to work on our roasted garlic. This will impart a lot of great flavors to the hummus. Just cutting off the top, remove the outer skin real quick, throw it in a pan. I'm going to douse this in some olive oil, wrap it tightly in foil, and then throw it in the oven using my toaster oven at 400 degrees. Let this cook for about 1 hour. Chickpeas have been simmering covered for about 1 hour, so just give it a quick test. You want it to be falling apart in your hand, but not completely crumbly. So drain this off and then rinse it, cool it down a little bit. I'm gonna go through and remove most of the skins from the chickpeas. A lot of them just kind of slough off easily, but to make sure, just kind of peeling them off one by one. Takes a little time, but it's gonna give you nice, super smooth hummus. Garlic's done, nice and roasted. This is pretty satisfying. We're just gonna kind of squeeze the garlic out of their shells into the hummus. It's gonna have a lot more rich and depth of flavor than just using raw garlic, but you can do that as well. Pour our chickpeas into the food processor. Make a little bit of a mess, that's all right. I did earn the name Parknado in the kitchen when I started, because I always made a mess. Gotten better now. And just start blending this. Take a few minutes overall. Add half a cup of tahini. I'm just gonna add some lemon juice. Quick little tip, squeeze it over your hands. That way you catch any of the seeds. The juice falls through, but you don't get seeds in your food. And we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of olive oil using the same measuring cup. Don't need to dirty in the second one. I've noticed I couldn't fit all the chickpeas in the food processor to begin with. Now that they're blended down a little bit, go ahead and add the rest. Decide I need a lot more lemon juice, kind of thin it out and give some extra flavor. So added that. Let's go ahead and taste this hummus. It's good. Missing a little something, I think. I did 2 garlic cloves. Don't know how to add the second. I don't want to overpower it, but roasted garlic's gonna be great. Probably just a little bit more lemon juice. We'll have a perfect homemade hummus. Telling you, if you've never squeezed a roasted garlic bulb, it's a very satisfying culinary experience. We're gonna get all that goodness in there. Just using my hands to squeeze the lemons for this. I'm a big fan of lemon squeezers as well, so if you have that, go ahead and use it. Add just a little bit of cumin, just as kind of secret flavor booster. Blend this for about 1 more minute till it's nice and smooth. Let's go ahead and give it a try with those adjustments. Man, that hummus is money 10, maybe 100 times better than what most of the stuff you'll find in the store. Go great with the pita that I got rising behind me. So, can't wait to finish this off. I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up. Just scoop it out of the food processor into any serving bowl, or not gonna have it immediately, just put it in a storage container. Smooth this out, make some nice little waves. Grab some parsley as well. I always like to pluck the stems, go and chop it. If you ask me, parsley is mostly just for color. It has a little bit of flavor, but you can skip it if you don't have it. And then adding a little bit of smoked paprika. Smoked actually has some flavor, just plain paprika again, mostly just color. And then top with olive oil. Next, I'm gonna make the pita. When I made these, I actually did them at the same time, helped with timing, but for the video, decided to split them up. Started with 9 grams or 3 teaspoons of dry yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and a cup of warm water between 90 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Whisk that together, let it bloom. I realized from my recipe I needed another cup of water. Next, we're gonna weigh out or measure out the flour. So we're starting with 4 cups of bread flour, 480 grams. So I find it a little bit easier to just weigh it out, not to try to, and it'll be a little more precise for your baking. And I'll go ahead and add the flour to our water and yeast mixture. Then we're gonna add 2 teaspoons or 8 grams of kosher salt. Mix that all together. Knead this by hand. That'll take about 10 minutes. I prefer to let the stand mixer do the work for me. Next, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons or 9 grams of extra virgin olive oil. To be honest with y'all, I think I did my math wrong a little bit when I started this, so my dough was a little too wet, so I'm gonna add about 1 more cup of flour Let the dough hook knead it for a couple more minutes so it doesn't stick to the sides of the bowl anymore. Still have to do a little bit of work, so we're going to flour our surface, pull our dough out, and knead it for just a couple minutes till it comes together into a tight elastic ball. I'm going to grab another mixing bowl, put a little bit of olive oil in there, and then cover it with olive oil. Make sure it's nice and coated, keeps it from drying out, a little bit of extra flavor as well. Wrap this in plastic wrap. I'm going to set this aside, let it rise for at least 1 hour, preferably 2. This is the dough I've referenced earlier as I was tasting the hummus. We're going to flour our work surface again, punch this down. Another satisfying cooking thing. If you ever make bread at home, you'll know what I mean. We're going to pull our dough out. You don't want to overwork your dough here, but it's not that big of a deal if you do. We're going to form this into a nice little loaf. I like to get it nice and flat. And then we're going to cut it into 9 equal pieces. I decided to weigh mine out so they're all between 130 and 135 grams. I had to pull them apart a little bit. You don't have to do all this step, but I just wanted to get my pitas all more or less the same shape and size. Once I got that, go ahead and roll these into nice little tight balls. Just roll it around in your hand on the counter. You can tuck it into itself. Go ahead and cover these with a towel. I'm going to let them rise for about 30 minutes, doubled in size again. Grab a dough ball, flour the surface, flour my hands, roll it out with a rolling pin. It's just kind of the easiest method that I found. You want them till they're about 1/4 inch in thickness and 9 inches in diameter. Don't need to get a perfect circle. Create a few dimples with our fingertips, which helps the texture of the pita bread. Go ahead and place this on a thin plastic cutting board. I can transfer that into the oven. Oven at 475 degrees Fahrenheit with the pizza stone I put in there about an hour ago, so it had time to heat up. Cook it for about 2 minutes on one side, then give it a nice flip. Hopefully you got a nice pocket forming. Cook for about 3 minutes on this side, then pull it out. Decided to sprinkle some Greek seasoning on that, but it all kind of fell off, so going forward, I'm going to put it directly into the dough. Get that worked in a little bit. I'll repeat this process, or I'm going to show you another way as well, but just roll them all out, put it on the cutting tray, and then pop it in the oven. Look at that nice balloon right there. So the other method is you just cook this on medium-high heat in a cast iron skillet or any sort of non-stick pan. I think it gives you quite the same result as baking it, but works out pretty well as well. Got a couple nice little air pockets forming. You can use either method. I've got similar results with both. Go ahead and store all these in a nice airtight container. They'll last a couple days, but so good fresh, way better than what you'll find in the store. Go ahead and plate myself up a little bit. Grab a little of that hummus I plated up earlier. Grab some pitas, rip it into triangles. Let's go ahead and get a try of this hummus and pita. It's so good, way better than any store-bought variety, I promise. Might be a little bit of effort, but it's worth it. So give it a try, let me know what you think. If you like it, like this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.